Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Dennis Bray.
And I'm Jill Valley. Months after allegations of sexual misconduct from two students, Frenchtown music teacher Troy Basher is facing charges and will make his first court appearance November 14th.
Basher is charged with one count of sexual assault after an encounter with one of the accusers, who claims Basher fondled and attempted to kiss her. MTN's Kent Lunson joins us now with more on this unfolding story. Kent?
Dennis, Jill, these allegations started in January when a student came forward saying Basher touched her inappropriately. Later, a second student made similar allegations. Basher was put on paid leave for 2 weeks, but returned after a Title IX investigation could not justify the student's claims. However, Frenchtown school leaders have placed Basher back on paid leave, this time indefinitely, after he was charged on Monday. In a statement from Frenchtown School Superintendent Randy Klein, he said, quote, "In the best interest of the Frenchtown school community, Mr. Basher will be on leave with pay indefinitely. During this time, he will not perform any duties on behalf of the district." The school's attorney said the district will reopen the investigation within the week, as one of the teen's allegations are now different from when first reported. In court documents, the 16-year-old student reported that she was one of Basher's aides, which gave Basher the opportunity to interact with her outside the classroom setting. The student reported Basher had previously lifted up her shirt and touched her belly button during school hours. The student also reported another encounter when Basher approached her during theater practice and placed his hand on her backside. She said she moved away, but Basher followed her and inappropriately touched her again, later trying to kiss her. In late March, the Missoula County Sheriff's Office findings were passed on to the Missoula County Attorney's Office. The Attorney's Office decided they needed more information and asked the Sheriff's Office to continue their investigation. The latest findings have led to Basher's count of misdemeanor sexual assault. Basher has denied all the allegations against him. If found guilty, Basher faces 6 months in jail and or a $500 fine. Dennis?
Thanks, Kent. During the first Title IX investigation, the Frenchtown School District did find boundary issues, especially hugs and texting, between Basher and those students. The mother, whose son died from a lethal combination of drugs while he was a patient of a former Bitterroot doctor, fights tears as she delivers heartbreaking testimony on the witness stand. Dr. Chris Christensen charged with 2 counts of negligent homicide along with 20 other felonies.
Sharon Griffin says her son had struggled with substance abuse for many years, but had been taking medications to help get him off of opioids. She describes the horror of finding her son after he died.
No response at all. And I shook him, still no response. And pretty soon I opened up his eyelid and I yelled at him, just Greg, Greg, Greg. And so then I called 911.
Also in the courtroom today in Hamilton, both the prosecution and the defense disputed how prescription drugs should be administered. The jury listened to a Missoula pharmacist to explain how prescription drugs work and why some drugs should not be combined. One of the prosecution's points concerns accusations that Christensen did not keep good medical charts for his patients. They say those charts are necessary to prescribe the right mix of medications for patients who may have a variety of medical conditions.
Is it quality of life for that individual? Is it functionality? And so reaching those objectives in order to potentially reach that end goal, I think, is very important because it puts everybody on the same page.
The defense attorney has responded that Christensen did not need detailed charts because they are mainly used by physicians for insurance purposes, and Christensen's practice did not accept insurance. The trial continues on Thursday. Well, we had another beautiful day out there in western Montana. More of that kind of weather is on the way. For more, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Erin Yost for her first forecast.
Yeah, we're going to see a pretty decent Wednesday before some minor changes move in Wednesday evening into the first half of Thursday. Those minor changes going to be a cold front and an associated system. Although not a lot of precip expected with them, we should see the majority wind, the byproduct. It is going to put a little hiccup in this nice weather pattern we've seen. But take a look at earlier today. Hamilton, our First Security Bank ICAM, tons of sunshine. We actually have clear skies out there this evening. Perfect, because word on the street is you might be able to see the northern lights tonight. We are going to see a pretty decent day before those changes move in tomorrow afternoon. Again, wind, the biggest issue, but we could see a rain-snow mix, especially for folks closer to the divide. I'll break everything down for you coming up in the full forecast.
So are you ready to shell out twice the money to visit Glacier National Park during its busiest summer season? That is in a proposal announced today for several popular parks by the National Park Service. The proposal calls for peak season entrance fees to be established at 17 national parks, including Glacier and Yellowstone. So the fees would be double the current price to get into Glacier Park. The agency says the money would be used to target the aging infrastructure, which would include roads, bridges, campgrounds, bathrooms, and other services. If approved, during peak season, the entrance fee would be $70 per private vehicle. Currently, it only costs $30 to enter Glacier. There is a public comment period on this proposal. It runs until November 23rd. For specific information on fee increases and where you can submit public comment, go to our website, KPAX.com. A group of Republican senators are out with a draft bill they say will simplify forest management while helping to prevent wildfires. Montana Senator Steve Daines and Wyoming Senator John Barrasso have joined several other senators in backing the Wildfire Prevention and Mitigation Act of 2017. The crux of the bill discourages litigation against the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. The bill's authors claim it would enhance forest management to reduce the severity of wildfires. The bill would allow forest thinning and establish an arbitration process for any forest activity disputes not subject to judicial review. The bill has its first legislative hearing on Wednesday.
Philosophical arguments are often at the center of any local election, but there are a few races which illustrate such sharply different viewpoints as the current race for Missoula mayor. Whether it's taxes, economic development, or street repairs, John Engen and Lisa Tripke have few points in common. With taxes climbing in Missoula, it's been no surprise that taxation would emerge as a central debate point as Engen seeks a fourth term against Tripke, who feels the city's become a hostile place for taxpayers and business alike.
We're in the middle of the road in terms of the state. And one of the things I try to remind folks is that the city of Missoula is roughly a third of your tax bill. The rest is county and schools. In fact, the lion's share is schools. We work pretty diligently every day to make sure that the investment that we ask folks to make in our community through taxes is used effectively.
I think we need to look at budgeting differently. We need to look at not having a cash cow, but being able to look at the budget in terms of present numbers or actually coming in with reduced numbers, trying to return some of the taxes back to the citizens. The housing values are skyrocketing, so that has had a part in the increasing. But if we come to the table with maintaining as we are or a reduced budget by looking at eliminating waste or covering gaps of duplicate services, then we can make a difference.
Of course, the lifeblood of any city is revenue, but the heartbeat is really economic development, jobs, and new investment. Engen points proudly at new businesses like downtown hotels and banks and residential development. Tripke says we should follow Bozeman's lead by crafting a plan to attract specific business.
What we've heard again is people trying to start businesses or bring their businesses here are encountering roadblocks and struggles getting through City Hall to start their business. What's actually fascinating with Bozeman is in looking at their economic industry document, they court certain industry businesses and then try to figure out how to, or they identify industry businesses and then court them to come in to Bozeman with jobs that are high paying and quality compensation.
All of that is an indication of folks' confidence in our economy, in the quality of our place. So there are more people living and working in Missoula today. There's more development activity than there's been in my entire lifetime in Missoula, and I don't see an end to that.
Tomorrow we'll hear from both candidates on the condition of Missoula streets and public safety, and you can view our questions for candidates interviews that Jill and I did with both candidates entirely at KPAX.com. Coming up, Aaron lets us know how long this nice fall weather is going to stick around.
Hopefully for a long time. We'll also have the results of a school bond in the Flathead Valley, and we'll go to Eureka, where voters are being asked to approve yet another levy request. We have much more to come here on KPAX.